All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Poop Smart Clark Open House. My name is Carolyn Rice, and I work for Clark Conservation District. I am a project coordinator here, and I'm really excited to share this program with you today. As I said, we have representatives from lots of our partner organizations here as well. The open house will last about an hour, and we're really excited to tell you more about this program. So today, we will do an overview of what Poop Smart Clark is, and then we will hear from partners about the health of our local water and why that's relevant to the program, and then information about our different assistance programs, and a bit about how to manage dog poop as well. And then we will get into our Q&A session. So with that, let's get started on the overview part of the presentation. This program is funded by the Department of Ecology for Washington State, the Natural Resources Conservation Service, the Lower Columbia Fish Recovery Board, and the Washington State Conservation Commission. And the different partners that are helping to implement this program are the Clark Conservation District, which again is where I work, Clark County, the Watershed Alliance for Southwest Washington, and the WSU Extension Program for Clark County. And this may be different from what you're used to seeing from these organizations, poop emojis and just saying the word poop over and over again, but we're just trying to get right to the point and be a little playful about it because, everybody poops and it's an issue that we need to deal with. So Poop Smart Clark is all about giving you assistance to take care of number 2, to take care of your poop. And that is focused on 4 different sources of poop. So we're focused on manure from livestock, as well as dog poop. And then from humans, we're focused on septic systems, as well as recreation and pooping while you're outdoors. So those are our focus areas. And the reason this program exists is because Clark County, unfortunately, has a poop problem. And so Poop Smart has its roots from some water quality testing that the Department of Ecology did a few years ago, where they found that there's a lot of areas of poor water quality in Clark County. And specifically the East Fork Lewis River watershed area. And so this is a map where you'll see Yakult over on the right, Battleground to the south, Ridgefield and Woodland to the east, and La Centra's kind of in the middle. And the Lewis River flows through this whole area and then into the Columbia. And this big orange outline is showing you the entire area that drains into the East Fork Lewis River when it rains. And so this area is a focus area for our program for Poop Smart Clark, because the Department of Ecology found lots of bacteria from poop in these different areas. And so what's happening is that when it rains, the rain is getting on and into poop that's on people's fields, for instance, manure or dog poop, and picking up stuff from leaky septic systems. And it's taking itty bitty bits, of bacteria and other pretty gross things from the poop and bringing it all down into the river. So feel free to put your reactions to that in the chat if that's at all surprising to you, if you knew about that before. But so because we found, the Department of Ecology found all of this pollution in this area, it is our focus area for this project. And they started the East Fork Lewis River Partnership as a way of working with local organizations to improve the water quality here. And so it's not just one pile of poop on one piece of land that's causing this issue. It's really distributed, and the effect is combined across this whole area. So again, that's from, tons of different properties with manure and dog poop and septic systems that need some maintenance. So, and we know that dealing with that can be expensive. So we did some more testing and they found that the different sources are dog poop, human poop, horse poop, and cow poop and other ruminant poop. So again, that's from things like livestock and septic systems, and it's getting into the water. And, beyond being gross, why does that matter? So unfortunately, this bacteria that's getting into the water can affect our health. If you've been around Clark County at maybe Battleground Lake or Vancouver Lake, you may have seen some beach warning signs like this one that say, don't swim here because there's bacteria in the water. And so that kind of warning and that bacteria is from poop, like I was just talking about in the East Fork Lewis River area. So when we swim in that water or when our pets swim in it, we can get sick. And also when we're fishing in that water, we need to be careful about eating fish that comes out of contaminated water. So it's definitely an issue, not just for, the lakes and streams, but for us too. And unfortunately, there aren't just a ton of turds floating around in the water. So it's not easy to clean up once it's in the water. So what Poop Smart Clark is doing is saying, okay, there's all this bacteria in the water that's getting in there from rain, rain coming off of fields and down through all these creeks and streams, and then into the river. What we're going to do is Poop Smart Clark comes in and we're helping you contain your poop on your properties so that when it rains, the water doesn't have poop in it in the first place. And so that over time will help us get the poop out of the water. And then we can swim and play and fish and not worry about getting sick from these different bacteria from the poop, things like E. coli and stuff. So that is really the goal of Poop Smart Clark. And we know it's not easy always or cheap to deal with poop on your property. So we have a few different assistance programs for you that you'll hear more about later today. So the first is the Livestock Assistance Program that is available countywide. So again, I talked a lot about the East Fork Lewis River area, and that is our focus area, but we have resources as well for other parts of the county. And so the Livestock Assistance Program, we'll hear more about that from Sam Frundle, who's our livestock conservation planner, in a few minutes. And that is all about mud management and manure storage and fencing, and lots of other resources that we have for you. And then we have a septic system reimbursement program that's available in that East Fork Lewis River watershed. And we're hoping to expand it, but that's currently where it's available, and we're reimbursing you for things like septic inspections and maintenance and repair. And Anna Wild from the Watershed Alliance will talk more about that program later. And yeah, so that's where the program is focused. And finally, we have some resources as well around managing your dog poop. We'll hear a presentation on that as well today. And then about how to manage your poop when you are outside recreating. And you can find information about all of these different programs at poopsmartclark.org. You don't have to go here now. We'll put the link in the chat and it'll be available to you, but I just want to make sure you know it exists. If you go to this area up at the top of our website, you can choose which different program you want to learn about. And there, for instance, if you click on the I hunt, fish, or hike button there, you'll find different resources about how to poop like a pro when you are out hunting, fishing, or hiking. How far to poop from a stream, for instance, and portable toilets and a lot more. So that is the Poop Smart Clark program in a nutshell, and we'll hear a lot more soon in more detail about it. But to recap, we have our livestock assistance program. You can contact Clark Conservation District about that. We have our septic system reimbursement program and resources around recreation and dog poop. And I'll show this slide at the end as well, so you don't need to memorize it. Yeah, and it's all about keeping poop out of our local water and helping you do that with various different resources. So with that, I'm going to hand off the presentation to different partners at the Department of Ecology and Clark County Public Works Clean Water Division to talk more about that water quality testing that I shared.
Hi. Can you advance the slide? At least it hasn't changed. All right, great, thank you. So my name is Heather Pat. I am a non-point source water quality specialist for the Department of Ecology. Non-point source generally refers to pollution that is running off the land versus point source would most likely come from a pipe, and that's usually associated with a wastewater treatment plant or some stormwater discharges. Next slide. Ecology collects data, water quality data throughout the state, and we accept data from qualified organizations. This data is used to assess designated uses for those water bodies. In this case, the designated uses are aquatic life and recreational uses. Every 2 years, Washington reports this water quality data to EPA, and the water bodies that do not have high enough water quality to meet their designated uses are considered impaired. Next slide. Sections of the East Forest Lewis River and the surrounding tributaries currently do not meet the state's water quality standards for bacteria and temperature. Meeting these standards is essential to protect public health and recreational use and to improve conditions for fish and other wildlife. In this map of the entire East Forest Lewis River watershed, and not just the Poop Smart focal area, the streams here highlighted in yellow have high bacteria levels. The streams highlighted in red have high temperature levels. The orange are both high in temperature and bacteria, and the blue streams either did not exceed our water quality standards or were not sampled. And it should be noted that a lot of streams are not sampled. Next slide. So after all the sampling and we end up with impairments, it leads the Department of Ecology to develop a cleanup plan. So EPA approved the cleanup plan that Ecology wrote in the fall of 2021, and it's called an alternative restoration plan. And this plan reviews the water quality data and land use conditions to determine where and how various cleanup efforts will improve the water quality in the long term. So in this plan, we've identified septic systems, agriculture, pasture and manure management, stormwater, and streamside vegetation as were all identified as ways to improving the water quality conditions to reduce the bacteria and to reduce temperature levels. So now through the Poop Smart program, we are looking for landowners to help implement these activities on their properties so we can improve water quality. And next slide, and that's it for me.
Great context for the water quality testing, and Marley Milosevic from Clark County Public Works is now going to share some more details about some of the sampling they've done. Yeah, go ahead, Marley.
Thank you. So hi, I'm Marley Milosevic. I'm a natural resource specialist with Clark County Public Works Clean Water Division. And our role in this project is to perform microbial source tracking, which is also MST, known as MST. So can you move to the next slide, please? So we have 4 targeted watersheds, sub-watersheds within the East Fork Lewis River watershed. These, so it would be Breezy Creek, Jenny Creek, McCormick Creek, and Rock Creek North. Within these, we selected these watersheds based on water quality bacterial samples that were collected by Clark County through our Wadable Streams project, as well as the ecology water quality samples that were also collected. We collected our samples more recently than ecology, but with the combined data, it's definitely apparent that there is a bacteria problem within the East Fork watershed. And these were the top 4 sub-watersheds with the highest exceedances or the highest level of bacteria. So that's why we're targeting them. Next slide, please. And then this is just a closer view of the 4 sub-watersheds. Next slide, please. So our methods, as part of our microbial source tracking, there's 3 tools that we use. The main tool being qPCR testing, which is a water quality sample that we collect from the stream. And then it's tested for fecal DNA biomarkers. And then we also still use E. coli samples, which is another water quality grab sample. And then optical brightener, which is it's a handheld device that measures optical brightener within the water. And optical brighteners come from things such as toilet paper or detergent, like for washing your laundry, has brighteners. So it indicates that there's a source from a septic system. Other things regarding our methods is we are doing 12 samples and spreading 3 samples within each watershed. And we are, I think as mentioned before, we're targeting wet weather events. So the rain can wash off and we can make sure we're finding what sources the bacteria is coming from. Next slide, please. So this table kind of shows what we've found so far. The red color indicates what we found, and the darker red is indicates the highest concentration that we found of the biomarkers that we sampled for. So we sample, we're testing for is 2 different human DNA markers. One is qualified by the EPA, and the other is one that seems to be a better indicator within human samples. So looking at the table, you can see that human dorii, which is the one that is more found in our samples, was found in every sub-watershed that we sampled. And then the human EPA was found only in the Jenny Creek sub-watershed. We also found dog in every sub-watershed, with the highest concentration of any of these markers being in McCormick Creek for dog. And then horse was found in 3 of the sub-watersheds, Jenny, McCormick, and Rock Creek North. And then ruminant, and ruminant's going to be your cows, goat or sheep, your four-stomached animals were also found in every sub-watershed, with the highest concentration being ruminant and Breezy, Jenny, and Rock Creek North. And these biomarkers were selected based on land use and previous data analysis, as well as field observations. Next slide, please. If you'd like to go look at more water quality data, we recently came out with our stream health report. And this is a website where you can go and check out bacteria data that we collect monthly as part of that Wadeable Streams project that I was talking about, as well as other water quality indicators as well, such as temperature, metals, nutrients, all that fun stuff. So take a look if you have some time. And that next slide, please. I think that's it from me. So let me know if you have any questions that I can answer. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Marley. We're running right on time, so let's keep questions for now till the end about the water quality, but super interesting. So thank you. Next, we will hear about our assistance program for livestock. So Sam, I will let you take it away.
Sounds good. Hey everyone, my name is Sam and I'm the Livestock Conservation Planner for Clark Conservation District. And I'm just going to give you all a quick overview of how PoopSmart Clark and Clark Conservation District can provide you with technical and financial assistance to help with the management of your farms and livestock. Next slide. If you're a livestock owner, you already know that your animals produce a lot of poop. And in Clark County, the rainy season brings an onslaught of water management issues. Whether that's muddy pastures or paddocks or ponding in the field, there are a number of solutions we can assist you with. For example, a winter confinement area for your animals will allow your pastures to rest and to limit compaction when it's muddy, so they're ready for grazing when spring comes. The confinement area can also be used during a dry summer when forage production halts. Next slide. So I mentioned technical assistance earlier, so let's get into what that means. Our goal is to give our clients personalized advice and information based on science and research to help them make informed decisions regarding the productive use of their land and its natural resources. Technical assistance is free to landowners, and Clark CD is a non-regulatory organization. Involvement in this process is completely voluntary on your part. One of the ways we can assist is with on-site farm visits, where myself or another district planner can come out and chat with residents to discuss their management goals and objectives. So if you're curious why your pastures aren't producing adequate forage, or what you can do with your manure pile, or maybe what to do with your livestock in the winter, these are all questions that would qualify as technical assistance questions. Next slide. And Clark CD is really excited to provide Clark County livestock owners with cost share opportunities to address resource concerns to meet their management goals. Funding is limited and is subject to a prioritization system. We currently have funding to help with projects over the next 4 years, and typically cost share rates cover 75 to 90% of the total project cost. If you're interested in applying for financial assistance, the first step would be to contact myself or Clark CD to schedule a site visit and discuss your project goals. After that, we could move forward with developing a plan of action. Next slide. And so this slide just has some of the most common projects we can help with. Gutters, downspouts, underground outlets can work wonders for routing your water away from heavy use areas and are a really cost-effective way to reduce mud buildup. Manure storage facilities provide a dry space for storage of manure year-round and can result in compost, which can be easily spread in your gardens, pastures, even given away to neighbors, or sometimes even sold. Next slide. And that's it for me. If you have any questions, this is my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me.
Great, thank you, Sam. Yeah, again, we're still running right on time. Do we have a question for Sam, or are we good to go?
Let's just keep going.
Keep going. All right, great. Well, so next we will hear about the septic system reimbursement program from Anna at the Watershed Alliance.
Thanks, Carolyn. I'm Anna Wild with the Watershed Alliance of Southwest Washington. We are a nonprofit here in Clark County and focused on watershed health. I'm here to talk to you today about the Smart-Clark Septic Reimbursement Program. Smart-Clark has funds available to help get your septic system in good working order and keep our waterways clean. Specifically, we can reimburse you up to $130 for getting an inspection done and $500 toward any small repairs. So if the inspection shows that you need a major repair, or even if you need to replace your entire system, there are a limited amount of funds available for that as well. With the major repairs, there's some other factors at play, including financial need, what type of work is needed. So I'm going to talk a little about that, who is eligible, and what the steps are for getting some free money. Next slide, please. So this is a map that you've seen a lot tonight already. This is the project area, the 4 watersheds you see listed there and shown on the map. If you don't actually know what sub-watershed you live in, like maybe 99% of the county, we can help you with that. So the project area overlaps partially with Ridgefield, La Center, Battleground, Woodland, Amboy, and Yacolt. If you live close to one of those areas, you can go to the map here, which you can link to from the Smart-Clark website, type in your address, and it will let you know if you are actually in the project area. Next slide. So that is what you're going to be looking for on the Smart-Clark website to check your eligibility. And next slide. So if you check your eligibility and it looks like you are eligible, you can go ahead and sign up for the program at the same website. And we will check the maps for you just to make sure. Once we do that, we'll follow up with you and we'll let you know if you're eligible for reimbursement or not, and we'll send you the program details if you are eligible. If you are eligible, we will also hold those funds for you for 90 days while you get the work done. So if you go to the next slide, I will tell you what that looks like. So you filled out the sign up form and received an email that you're eligible. Now what? Your first step is to book your inspection, since that will tell you if you need a minor or a major repair. If you've already had an inspection recently, you can use that information to go to the next step, which is repairs. If you haven't, go ahead and book the inspection with a company certified by Clark County Public Health. You can find a list of certified inspection companies on the Smart-Clark website or go directly to the public health site. Once the inspection is complete and you've paid for it, you upload your receipt using the form on the Smart-Clark website and you wait for that $130 check, unless the inspection is less than $130, in which case you will get the amount that you paid. If you need a minor repair, first check the terms and conditions to make sure it's an eligible repair, or email us at the Watershed Alliance and we will confirm that it is eligible. So eligible repairs include system controls, risers, and internal parts like baffles or filters. Once you've had that work done, you can upload your receipt using the form and wait, the form that is on the website, and wait for your $500 check, unless the repair is less than $500, in which case you will get the amount you paid. If the inspection reveals that you need a major repair, like a pump tank replacement or a drain field line replacement, you will be contacted by Clark Conservation District to enroll in the major repair program. They'll work with Clark County Public Health to determine your financial need, and they will work with your septic contractor to see what kind of a project you're looking at. If the project is a high priority and the financial need is there, they'll work with you on a cost share process to get up to $16,500 in reimbursement towards the total cost of that project. Next slide, please. So if you find that you need a major repair and you're not able to take advantage of this particular reimbursement program, there are still other resources available to you on your journey to septic system health. Clark Conservation District can help you with that. And those resources are right there and available on the website as well, I believe. Next slide, please. So major takeaways from this program: you have to have property with a septic system in the project area to be eligible. You have to have an inspection first. Your repair needs to be on the list of eligible work, and you need to submit your receipts within 90 days of the project or of getting notified of your eligibility, whichever comes first. We know that there are labor shortages and supply chain issues out there, so if you need more time, let me know. We can work with you. Otherwise, we'll stop holding those funds for you after 90 days. Also want to emphasize that we're here to support you through this process. So please email me with any questions and I'd be happy to work with you. And thank you.
For that entire process, you can you can see what Anna said on our website as well. Next up, we'll hear from Eric Lambert with Clark County Public Works about how to manage dog poop.
Thanks, Carolyn. My name is Eric Lambert with Clark County Public Works. I'm the Clean Water Outreach Specialist there, and I also run the Canines for Clean Water program, which has been around for a little more than 10 years now. It's a behavior change program, which means that it's really just geared around supporting residents in picking up after their dogs, as well as addressing neighborhood issues around dog waste. You know, we saw that that dog is being detected in a lot of the impacted sub-watersheds, and but it's a bit more than that too. A lot of people don't think about it this way when they usually think about dog poop differently, when they realize it is just raw sewage, and that there's also more than 110,000 dogs in Clark County. So that really adds up. But it even goes beyond that for the health of your family and your dog and your pet. It's great to pick up everywhere because pet waste like this, dog poop, can harbor parasites and different pathogens and diseases that can not only impact water quality, but also impact the health of our families. Next slide. So the ways that we support residents in this effort, we offer signs for both common areas and yard signs. We also offer things and like little things to help people just do the job the best they can. Bag holders and full bag holders. And we also offer resources and literature for talking with neighbors about problems. Finally, we have graphics, and we just saw those on the last slide. The graphics that you can share with your neighbors, or if you're in an HOA, to share in an HOA newsletter or on social media. So those are some of the things that we have. We also occasionally get requests for coming to talk to a neighborhood association meeting or something like that. Next slide. And finally, one of the components that we ask people to do, and you can do this right after this meeting, is to take the Canines for Clean Water pledge. We're closing in on 4,000 Clark County residents who've taken the pledge. It's pretty simple: scoop it, bag it, trash it everywhere, and keep the dogs on leash in sensitive areas, and then to help spread that message to others. You can find all my contact information and how to reach me by going to cleanwaterdogs.com. The site is housed on the Stormwater Partners website, where you'll find a whole bunch of other resources for preventing pollution. And that's what I've got. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Eric. Yeah, so that is a great summary and big picture of what Poop Smart Clark is all about from all of our different partners. Thank you for presenting, everybody. So just to recap, Poop Smart Clark is currently focused in the East Fork Lewis River area, but we have resources available for all of Clark County as well, and we will be expanding our septic program in the future, probably to Lacamas and other areas. So our livestock assistance program is available countywide, and it's for mud management, manure storage, and more. And you can contact Clark Conservation District for a free and confidential site visit, or just contact Sam directly. And then we have our septic system reimbursement program, which is available in specific areas in this watershed. And that's reimbursement for inspections, pumping, and repairs. And you can sign up on our poopsmartclark.org website. And finally, we have some resources for you around how to poop like a pro when you're recreating and to manage dog poop effectively. All with the goal of keeping our water, or improving the quality of our water, around here so we can enjoy it. So some action items for you. I'll show this after the Q&A as well, but decide which programs you're interested in, and contact the associated people. Pick up your dog poop and take the Canines for Clean Water pledge. Learn how to poop like a pro when you're outside recreating, and then spread the word. Tell your friends and neighbors about the program and all the different resources we have. So with that, we have some time for question and answers. You can put questions in the chat or use the raise your hand function, which you'll find in your toolbar in like the reactions, or there might be another way to do that too. And then you can also put in the chat if you want to unmute yourself. And so Ashley has her hand raised. What's up, Ashley?
I was just showing how to do it.
Great. Okay. Thank you. So that's how you do it. And do we have any questions for anybody? You can ask them of the presenters. We also have some representatives from Clark County Public Health here. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go for it. I don't see any at the moment, but earlier somebody was asking me just some direct message questions about how they would know if they were eligible or just where they are and what programs they might qualify for. So just a reminder, you can scroll up there. I can put it in the chat again, but I put a direct link for an eligibility map. We are going to be updating that pretty soon to just be a little bit more helpful with those eligibility requirements, but that will all be found on the Poop Smart website. So I answered my own question, sorry.
That was great. Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, our website is a great resource for any of your questions. Yeah.
Let me see. This person says, I have a lot of horses and lots of manure. What kind of things can you help me with?
Yeah, Sam, would you want to take that question?
Yeah, lots of horses, lots of manure. We can help with waste storage facilities. So something where it's like a concrete floor, concrete sides, a roof and gutters where you can store that manure. We can do like a 3-bin system. We can do something bigger, smaller that fits how many horses you have. We can also help with like prescribed grazing plans, fencing to help optimize like spreading, and the Conservation District also does have a manure spreader that we rent out. So if you have enough acreage, you can spread your manure. So yeah.
Great, thanks, Sam.
I'm going to mish 2 questions that I got together. Some people were just asking about having large acreage as well as a dog, and what are they supposed to do? Are they really supposed to be picking up their dog poop? So maybe Eric?
Yeah, I get this question a lot, and it is a challenging one to answer. I know that with a lot of acreage, folks, let the dogs out and who knows where they go. Sometimes dogs do tend to go to a similar area. So if you can find that area, every few days, take a little pasture walk or take a little walk around your yard and pick it up then is better than just leaving it out. Particularly if you have a property that's close to waterways, definitely kind of scope that area out every few days to make sure you're scooping it up as close as you can to those areas, and do your best, I guess, is the best recommendation I have there. I know it is especially challenging sometimes when you can't always keep your eye on the dog on a larger acreage. So that's, I guess, the best recommendation I have at that point.
That is all the questions we have at the moment, but maybe we can give it a couple more seconds or whatever.
Yeah, let's give it a few minutes or a few seconds, few minutes. Yeah. And if presenters have questions for each other, you should go for that too.
I will throw one out that, so part of this program is that we've been doing some door-to-door outreach. And one of the things that we've had a lot of questions about during the door-to-door outreach is you know, having people that have septic systems, but they're like, my septic system's doing just fine. Like, really, why should I get it inspected? Or like, they're just kind of like, why should I wait? Like, if it's working just fine, like if it ain't broke, don't mess with it. So I would just love to hear maybe from some of the people at public health or something about that.
Yeah, do we
Well-
have anyone from public health who can take
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Oh,
this is
great.
Chuck Harmon from Clark County Public Health. Yeah, that's a really great question, actually, because we do hear that. And I think there's a couple of reasons why it's important. And first of all, just because the system isn't rejecting water, I don't think in all cases means it's necessarily working well or doesn't have problems. There can be situations where it's not treating as much, it's still taking on water. And it can be based on multiple factors. Second thing is, one of the things that can happen with the septic system, especially an older one, is the tank can leak. And basically the treatment train for septic is it goes out into the tank, a lot of the solids settle out, and there is a little bit of treatment in portions of the tank. And then the water disperses out from there. So it's been partially treated and a lot of solids have fallen out. And then it goes into the soil where the bacteria do their job to eat up all the good bacteria in the soil, eat up the bad bacteria in the wastewater. And but if your tank is leaking, basically now mostly untreated wastewater is leaving the tank and it's going right into the ground, and it is not getting that additional treatment, and it's probably going down in a concentrated form in a concentrated area, whereas the drain field is designed to spread that water out over a broad area so that the bacteria have time to work on the wastewater as it's percolating slowly down into the soil. So there are reasons that even though your system isn't backing up, there could be problems, and an inspection will figure those problems out earlier. So if you care about water quality and you also care about maintaining your septic system at the level that it needs to perform at, that's why an inspection is super important. And you don't want to, if you don't, you might have an imminent problem. And if you don't do an inspection, that imminent problem could end up inside your house.
Great, thank you, Chuck. Yeah, that's really, really interesting about septic system maintenance.
I don't have any other questions, but Zora, if you wouldn't mind maybe unmuting yourself and reading what you wrote in the comments, that would be great.
Yeah, I'm just curious to any of the public participants on the call if any of this information is new or surprising, or I don't know. I would love to hear for myself, even as a natural resource professional. I was honestly shocked at the impact of dog poop, even on acreage. You know, I knew that you needed to pick up your dog's poop at the park, in public areas, but I was pretty surprised about how the impact that it could have, even just on, your acreage. So I'm curious, is there anything you've learned today or heard today that was surprising or sparked your interest? Feel free to speak up or put it in the chat. Yeah, the dog poop.
Yeah, it looks like people agree.
Yeah, I am. If anybody wants to speak up, that particular one, I feel like it's going to be a tough nut to crack to try and communicate how important it is to pick up your dog's poop. Even if you own 10 acres, it's still important. I'm curious if anybody has any ideas, or if you have a dog in acreage, what would convince you to pick up poop on your own property?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's definitely not convenient currently as is. But yeah, when you think about how much it's adding up over all of Clark County, like back to Eric's slides. It's pretty amazing.
On a well, that's a great point, Stacy, to connect it to, even if you don't worry about it getting into streams or rivers, it could be getting into your well, and that is something that a lot of people would care about. Thank you
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah, Chuck, you have your hand up. Do you want to say something?
Yes, sorry, and maybe I'll give provide a question for the dog poop program. And the other thing I got thinking about when you think about larger acreages, and I got thinking about it in the context also of larger animals. I mean, generally, I think you find if you're able to keep them away, the further you can keep them from waterways or drainages that go to waterways, those are the areas where generally you're going to see more concentrations of where the direct path to the waters from. So I wonder if in the guidance that is out there, especially for large acreage, I don't know if it's a good answer, so Eric can chime in. The other way would be like let them run, but try to keep and protect and fence off areas that would be sensitive areas that are closer to or drain directly to the local water bodies.
Yeah, I think you make a great point, Chuck. The further away from the water, like I mentioned before, the better. I knew one landowner who would actually, they would let their dog run out, but then before they did that, they would take their dog for a little walk around the property and let them go, so they knew where it was on leash. And then after they had went, they felt better about letting their dog off leash and kind of roam the property. They had a bigger property more freely. And I thought that was one kind of a strategy that I hadn't really heard before, but it sounded like a good one that worked for them. So yeah, thinking about just the ways to minimize the dog poop, especially the closer to the waterways, closer to your well. That's, I think, one of the best practices you can think about.
The dog poop, it's we're talking about it in the chat a little bit, and I think the East Fork and where we did these testing sites, it's really interesting because it isn't a really super urban area, or it isn't an area with a lot of parks. It's primarily just acreage. It's not a lot of areas where people are out walking their dogs on the leash. I mean, there are spots like that. There are parks, but primarily it's larger acreage. So I feel like a good sort of study for even in those big areas, it's still important.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to Eric's slides here just so we can see our numbers again about the dog poop and the dogs. Yeah, and all of the different like pathogens and bacteria that it can carry and get into the water supply, so like Giardia is not something you want your dog or you to get, not by any means.
I've got a direct message in the chat that I'll just read out and try and answer a bit. The question was, how do you plan to outreach this info to the rural residents? So let's see, I don't know, one of you Clark CDers, do you want to talk about how we've done some outreach? We are also totally open to suggestions. If any of you have suggestions, please let us know.
Yeah, let's see. I can chat about that, but I know Natalie's on the call. Natalie, do you want to talk about outreach?
Yeah, so we've been going, doing some door-to-door outreach for the past month or so. And that's specifically to properties in the eligibility area for our septic reimbursement program. And yeah, just connecting with individuals. We are aiming to, get some conversations in with those people. We're also just leaving a door hanger, a contact info for our website and just providing resources. And we've also done some tabling events. So we are going to the La Center Farmers Market and trying to reach out to people in that way, and encourage them to, you know, pick up their dog's poop, let them know about what assistance we have available. And then we are also just looking to get involved with some more organizations in the area to reach out to people that we might not necessarily be hitting right now. But yeah, that's what I've got. If anyone else has anything to add, feel free to jump in.
We also did a full page color ad on the back of the reflector. And I don't know exactly what else we've done. We've, you know, some Facebook posts, things like that. Postcards, we mailed postcards out to everybody in our project area within 200 feet of a stream. Yeah.
Great. We have a few hands. I saw Chuck's first and then Eric.
Yeah. Thanks again. You know, because the other thing that I thought about, and you may already be doing this, where are they getting their supplies for their pets, and you know, like the farm stores, if there's farm things like that. So, and I don't know if you've tried that, and you may not, I don't know if you get a good reception or not, or obviously any pet stores that are in those areas.
I was typing it in the chat, but I feel like I'm not going to be quick enough before somebody answers. So I'll just answer it. I was just typing. Yep, we're reaching out to groomers as well as vets, because one of the things that, at least for me, when like one of my friends tells me something, or a trusted, like my doctor or my vet tells me something, I usually take their advice a little bit more than somebody that's random. So we are definitely using that approach as well. So
that's great.
I'll just, since I have the floor, Carolyn, Eric, go next.
Okay, yeah, I just had one more thought too, because we're also doing this, some pet waste outreach along trails, and actually like kind of evaluating where the pet waste is found on the trail. And I would say at least 50% of the poop we find is in the first, 50 to 100 yards, which leads me to believe that, especially if you're someone who has their dog inside most of the day, you come home, you let them out, they're probably going to go poop in the first 5 minutes. So one strategy for acreage is, if you can, not necessarily keep your dog, keep watching your dog for like that 2 hours that you let them out in the evening or whatever, but for the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes, kind of keep an eye on them, then you're probably going to be able to find it and pick it up. So that's another strategy I was thinking about.
That's a great idea. They can be predictable in that way. Great. We are almost out of time. Do we have any last thoughts? I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to attend here and also present about all of these great resources and the science behind them. It's a very cool program and we're really proud of it. So we're hoping that we can, connect with a lot of you and that you can help us spread the word about all of this. And I see Ashley's putting in the chat to go to poopsmartclark.org. That is where you can find all the resources you'll need. So thank you everybody for taking the time tonight, and go ahead and poop smart. Yeah. And we have resources in Spanish and Russian as well. So if you know folks who speak those languages and would prefer to see materials in those languages, we can help you out there. All right. Well, have a good rest of your evening. We are at 6:59 p.m. So with that, I'll go back to the final actions slide. Again, just decide which program you're interested in and take the dog poop pledge and poop like a pro and help your livestock and your dogs do it too.